All right, everybody, welcome back to the World Wide Web of Lending YouTube channel. Of course, the podcast is called Connected to the Web with two B's. We'll have some fun with that later, but this is the second time I am having a Joe and Joe conversation. Obviously, a few months ago, I met with Joe from Hartford Retirement Planners. We had a little fun there. And there used to be a band called Two Skinny Joes, Two Skinny Jays. You're not a big guy. I'm a big guy. It doesn't work. So Joe Rosensweet, and I was going to say your company name, but it's awesome, but I want you to say it. So where do you hail from, Joe?
The name of our company is Thoroughbred Sedan, Van, and Bus, and we're located in Rosedale, Maryland, and we service the Baltimore, Washington corridor.
That flows real good. Sedan, van, and bus.
Yeah, sedan, van, and bus.
Which obviously implies the fleet.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So I did a little research, deep research, and realized that you like the Baltimore teams. But I couldn't see that if you were from the Baltimore area. So where were you born, buddy?
So I was born in Ohio. I'm a big Buckeye.
You're going to be happy in this house.
Yeah?
Yeah, my wife's from Columbus.
You're kidding.
Yeah, no, she's a huge Buckeye. Yeah, super cool. That's funny. So we're
my
both named Joe. We both like the Buckeyes, even though I was born in Maryland.
huge Buckeyes. My dad went to Ohio State.
Oh,
My family in Cincinnati. I was born in Dayton, moved to Cleveland, moved to Baltimore when I was 10.
Okay. What was the move? Like family, work kind of thing?
Family. My dad got a job in Baltimore. And ironically, we were Browns fans, obviously, living in Cleveland.
Yes.
We moved when the Browns moved to Baltimore.
So 96?
96.
Yeah.
I was 10. And I knew the whole team. I was like the only one in third grade or whatever that knew every single player because I knew them the year before. So Baltimore was getting the expansion team. We were moving. I mean, it just worked out perfect.
And you weren't young enough to have the rage that some of the Browns fans had.
I didn't know anything about the Mayflower or whatever. You know, leaving at 2 a.m.
Well, my father-in-law watches, and he's born and raised in Ohio, and he's part of you guys have the Purple Browns club, especially that you had Bill Belichick on that team. It was wild. So, yeah, it was we're always like, oh, Mayflower 1984 kind of thing, oh my, cry. Yeah. And they're like, well, you took our team. And I'm like, actually, they changed the entire rules around Baltimore's exodus, the Colts, so that the Browns got voted on, and they actually moved the team. So be mad at Cleveland. Don't be mad at Baltimore. We have that conversation all the time. But so 96 was huge around here, obviously. So funny story, I met my wife at college. I went to Towson University, 99, 2000, started dating 2000. And, we got serious about 2 years in. I met the parents, right? So we go to Ohio. He lives in Columbus, and a suburb out there. So we're, meeting him, really great guy, 50% Lebanese, 50% Italian. So he's a big guy, wonderful man. And within 5 minutes, he's like, what do you think of the Buckeyes? Because I'm from Maryland, right? Mm-hmm. And at that time, Maryland hadn't joined the Big Ten.
Right.
So I was like, well, I went to, we're at a college where football's not crazy. So I like the Buckeyes, and I was kind of teasing, but you kind of get wrapped up in that culture. And I remember some really fun things where you would go to a Kroger out there, which is the major grocery store, and there's an entire 20-foot rack of Buckeye stuff and then 5 feet of all the NFL teams. It's just so funny. Like, there is Buckeyes and then there's everything else. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But then eventually Maryland joined the Big Ten, and he sat me down and he's like, all right, son, what are you going to do? You're not going to wear one of those weird jerseys where you cut them in half. What's it going to be, right? And I was like, I've never been a Terp fan because I was a Towson Tiger. Right. So, we're gonna be good here. And it was pretty crazy. We ended up going to a game in Maryland a couple times, and I was rooting for the Buckeyes. So I don't want to piss off any Maryland fans, but that's kind of the story.
Did you happen to go to the this was maybe 10 years ago? They played Navy at Raven Stadium?
I did not.
I went to that one.
Yeah, I know about that game. Yeah. So I was at the Buckeye Terp game where in the fourth quarter with like 30 seconds left, Maryland tied the game. Yeah. And then the Buckeyes drove down and did a field goal.
Maybe like 3 or 4 years ago or something.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. That was pretty wild. And I ended up coaching youth football for the Bel Air Terps. So then we're kind of leaning back towards Maryland Terps because the logo's the same. And anyway, but that's it's crazy coincidence, man.
Buckeyes. There's Buckeyes everywhere.
Dude, you guys travel.
We travel the country. They're everywhere, every city. We go down to Sarasota a lot in Siesta Key, Tampa area, and it's huge. I mean, Buckeye bars.
It's everywhere. We go to Hilton Head. There's an entire bar there called Mangiamo's where it's just huge Buckeye fan. You're driving somewhere, and every time you see an Ohio plate, there's a Buckeye thing. It's wild, man.
There's like alumni chapters in every town.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's cool, man. So your dad went to Ohio State?
Dad went to Ohio State, moved to Baltimore, grew up in like the Lutherville, Timonium area.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Went to Pikesville High School.
Okay.
York College, graduated in 2009. That's where I met my wife.
So you're technically a transplant, but if you're here at 10, I feel like you're...
Yeah, I still definitely feel like a transplant. Just like if I feel like old school Baltimore, like you have to be born here.
Yeah.
You know, it's been 30 years, but I still feel a little bit like a transplant.
Well, I've listened twice, and you've said Baltimore and Baltimore at 2 different times.
Did I say it differently?
Yeah.
And I don't say like water but like oil down the shore horn.
Yeah.
You know, stuff horn. Like that.
Yeah.
Ain't the beer cold?
It's almost like HAWN, horn.
Horn, yeah.
No, that's funny. Have you been to a Hun Fest?
I haven't, but I know about them.
Oh, man. I think they actually stopped a couple years ago, which is so sad.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool spectacle when I was younger to go down there and see all the beehives from the old 40s and 50s, and it was a cool thing. But,
I mean, I love the old school Baltimore, like, you know, east side of Baltimore County, Dundalk, Essex, just like the
JFX going down.
Yeah. I mean, there's this guy, Stavvy.
Oh, dude, of course.
He's hilarious. And
He's so funny.
when he does, like, his Flacco stuff and...
Flacco.
The aerial is home.
He's getting pretty big, actually. He's got a couple of big events where he's going to kind of go national, but he's actually a funny comedian.
He's
hilarious. He talks about the Baltimore stuff, and this. So we're recording this in towards the end of March of 26, and the whole Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson thing got a little crazy. His responses on that, like his emotions of the rise and fall.
He did a recap.
Well, no, but you can imagine when it happened, he had a very emotionally high response, and then when we found out he wasn't coming, he was emotionally low. And then Trey Hendrickson was emotionally up and down. He obviously has a great, thing. His vibe is very like reactional. It's totally dramatic.
It's great.
There's no middle ground with Stabby.
I mean, on Sundays, like we're football junkies, but like I can't tell you how many times I'm checking his page to see when has he done the recap yet? Because they're just hilarious.
Oh man, that's awesome. Okay, so I cut you off when you were just saying that you're married. So you met your wife at York, right?
Met my wife.
Cool.
Senior year of college.
Okay.
And we were to say major, recreation administration.
What is recreation administration?
I guess I could have become like a park ranger.
Oh, okay.
Or work at a YMCA, youth sports.
Those are 2 complete different spectrums.
Yeah, I guess.
Work as a park ranger or YMCA. So that's a big difference.
So recreation administration, at the time, or at one point, I thought about becoming like a phys ed teacher.
Okay.
And I might have had to go back to school. I think at one point I was looking into...
the certifications.
Certifications, going back for my master's. I'm pretty sure I looked into Towson at some point.
Yeah, you lived in Towson, so it was right there.
Kind of migrated up to Harford County in 2011, I believe. I
was going to ask because the office is in Rosedale, but you're up here, right? You're a Harford County local now.
So, but I'm from Towson, but I had got a job with Hers Potato Chips.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a route delivery guy, and I got the Harford County, Abingdon area route. And I didn't know anything about Abingdon, but we were looking to move out, and that's how we ended up in Abingdon.
Oh, that's cool.
And then 3 months later, I quit.
This place is great.
This place is great. Oh, God, I got a mortgage. What am I going to do? And then, stuff happens, and I kind of fell into transportation shortly after. Worked for another company in Baltimore for a couple of years. I got my master's degree in transportation.
Nice.
And then in, what would that have been? 2013, 2014, branched off and started Thoroughbred.
So you had your 10-year anniversary a couple years ago, right? Because I saw on the
10-year anniversary February. Oh, last month.
Okay.
Last month.
So 10 years is huge, right? Let's kind of talk a little bit about, that journey in a second. But I got to get back. So I'm from the area too, right? So why York? Because you lived in Timonium. I mean, Towson's right there, John Hopkins, whatever.
Yeah.
What was it about your college that was like, hey, this is kind of where I'm going to go?
I wasn't a great student in high school. I tested so poorly.
Yeah.
York was only, not to sound like York's a terrible school,
no.
but it was a little bit smaller. It was only 30, 40 minutes from my parents' house.
Absolutely.
But I think I just needed somewhere a little further out, even though it wasn't that much, just a little bit around the corner from my parents. Probably had to...
Just far enough away.
Just far enough away, yeah.
Your own thing, but not too far to cut the cord.
Yeah.
Not like Ohio State.
Not like Ohio. Oh, I would have been so lost.
Yeah.
I actually did put in an application to transfer after the first semester at York.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think a lot of people know that actually, but I did. And
was this breaking news?
Breaking news. But I definitely didn't test well enough, and I would have got so lost there. As badly as I grew up and I wanted to be a Buckeye, it just 50,000 undergrad.
Oh yeah.
I would have been so lost. York was the perfect size, and
you can get from one side to the other of the campus in 15 minutes.
Right. I met my best friends in the world there also.
Awesome.
My wife, so worked out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well then, let's kind of go down let's go 10 years back. Let's kind of rewind the clock a little bit and kind of share with the audience kind of where the idea bore from, because everybody that has a job doesn't decide to quit that job and start their own version of it. So I'd love to kind of pick your brain on that and then kind of go down that road. So obviously we're going to talk a lot about your business, but I'm always fascinated by the mental journey that goes from somebody who's most likely employed almost every time with somebody else.
Right.
And then the maturation of that thought. You had a thought at some point, I might like this cool industry, but I would do it differently kind of thing. Walk me through, Joe, like what changed inside of you to say, hey, I'm at this company, I like this industry, but I'm going to do it my way. Like entrepreneur-wise, where did that little seed start growing?
Yeah, I think it really started probably 10 or 20 years before. I was always just kind of wired to not work for the man, for lack of a better term. I mean, I had tons of under-the-table jobs when I was in middle school and high school, and I snow shoveled when I was a teenager, probably in elementary school, actually.
You're past the 10-year period. You can't get audited.
Yeah. Right. And I was just always kind of wired to do my own thing, walk to the own beat of my drum.
Mm-hmm.
I had always interest in logistics, geography, certainly business, but geography. And I was always really good at maps and cities and states. And so that kind of, with the transportation aspect, kind of clicked. I didn't, like, if you would have told me in college this was going to happen, I thought I was going to be a gym teacher or work at a YMCA or, youth sports programs, things like that. And I was never I didn't like sales. Coming out of college. I hated sales. I didn't like the cold calling. I didn't like trying to convince somebody to purchase something. Realize it's really not like that. But
outside looking in.
Outside looking in, yeah. And I love.
So you had this moment.
It was
cooking in your head, and you're
cooking.
Like, "Go time."
I really
resign.
Yeah. After a couple of years, I really like this industry, what I'm doing, and it's time. I like to put my own little spin on it, if you will.
Yeah.
And the hardest part, obviously, is pulling the trigger. In your head, you think of all the reasons not to do something.
Oh yeah.
And just in life, anxiety. And the hardest thing is to just take the risk. And, as cliche as that sounds,
we come up with so many reasons
not to do something. We come up with a zillion reasons. One of the reasons is I was convinced the business plan wasn't perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect business plan. And that took me forever to realize.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Great phrase. That's a good phrase.
Just kind of understanding, hey, it's not going to be 100%, and you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it.
Well, logistics of your business, too, there are some pretty significant upfront costs. Because you're talking about a fleet. You start with one grill, obviously, but even that first acquisition is going to be a big thing. So what was your first vehicle when Thoroughbred began, or did you try to come out the gate with a couple different ones? Kind of how'd that work?
Yeah, I kind of, the plan was to get a town car.
Okay.
And do as much work in-house that I could behind the wheel, and work with a few local subcontractors, kind of being a one-stop shop for everything else.
Town car, just for my ignorance on that subject, that's just a longer limousine style?
Yeah, so it's more so of the wording. It was like the Lincoln Continental.
Okay.
I don't think they even have them anymore.
Okay.
But I bought a Chrysler 300.
Okay.
It was a 2015. It was like the version of the town car in 2015 and 2016. Super slick.
Yeah, real slick.
It was nice.
That boxy look.
Yeah. Economical but luxurious at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was a really good price point. I loved it. And, I kind of bought that doing airport transfers.
Okay.
As like kind of the niche, starting off, and certainly a lot of wedding married couples, transportation at the end of the evening, sort of a thing.
I was going to say that's kind of a layup. Well, what about the name? so you got the idea, you started figuring out some of your first vehicle, but it's a really cool logo that you have. I mean, I can probably guess in this area where that came from a little bit, but I don't want to assume. So again, these seeds start to grow, right?
Yeah.
And then when you get to that point, you're like, well, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
You have to start branding. So the name and the logo kind of take me down that road.
Yeah, you're probably right with what you're envisioning, what you're thinking. Actually, I think I'm pretty sure Buckeye Transportation at one point was in the running. But obviously thinking, at 10 years ago, I think Maryland was really getting into horse racing.
Yeah.
Kevin Plank, Under Armour, Sagamore Farms. So kind of thinking kind of how to network and, what kind of fits in the Hunt Valley area. That's kind of where I was at the time.
Yeah.
Or a lot of our business was initially, or thinking it was going to be. And we were at the dining room table at my parents' house, and I have to give credit. Shout out Lily, my sister named Thoroughbred.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, shout out.
And
okay.
one of the things I did want to do...
You mean your at-home design team?
Yeah, my at-home design team. I did want to incorporate what we do in the name.
Yeah.
I thought that was really important. So that's where the sedan, van, and bus came from instead of just Thoroughbred.
Yes.
Which could
smart.
be super vague, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit long, but it kind of tells a story to the consumer of what we do on Google right away.
So turn to the camera a little bit so they can see your jacket. You got a little drip on, as the kids say. It's such a clean and simple logo, and I like the idea of the single word.
Right.
And in the Preakness area, we see that word, we're like, oh, and
yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. So you.
Yeah, I should have. I don't know how I missed bringing that up, but Preakness and Pimlico, duh.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Do we do that, or
Yeah,
so,
that was a big factor also.
A lot of fun.
The history in Pimlico, and I actually I've never been inside Preakness.
Me neither.
That was a big thing when we were in high school. Like all my friends and they went and partied and ran across the urinals.
Oh, because you were in Lutherville, Timonium.
I was in Lutherville, Timonium.
That's down the street.
Yeah, and Pikesville's right across, around the corner. And that was a big thing growing up, going down there underage and the infield. And they kind of tapered back, I guess. 10,
Not
15.
drinking, you mean just hanging out?
Yeah, just hanging out, you know.
Of course.
Playing Scrabble in the infield. But
yes.
Yeah, that was a big factor, just the history of Pimlico.
Yeah.
Of incorporating the name.
I feel like people care about that stuff, and I'm glad you shared that, because it's not, I don't want to use the word humble beginnings, but like the everyday guy is kind of like what runs the country. And there's a lot of that in Maryland, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that say, I got an idea, and they roll with it. I'm just so fascinated to hear that. So like the idea about your sister with the logo, like that's super cool, with the name. I mean, I just love stuff like that. So, all right, so we're kind of going through in history. You have the idea, you broke away from the company, you've got the logo, you have the name.
Yeah.
So you're sitting at your desk and you're like, okay, your pens, you turn your pen on, like, how do you start a transportation company? Do you begin to outreach immediately, pull your contacts? What's the first thing you did to say it's time to grow this bad boy?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of both, which you mentioned. I'm sitting at a beer pong table in my makeshift office in Abingdon.
Love it.
And I got a laptop, and I'm sitting on an old basketball chair from York that I stole when I was in college.
Nice. There's a lot of things I'm going to have to be careful on the statute of limitations on this podcast.
I borrowed. I just haven't returned it yet.
Yeah, underage, yeah, we're good. We're good.
So I got the TV up, and I got the monitors, beer pong table, and I'm just kind of, a few contacts I already have made, people in my network from over the years, people at old jobs, certainly Google, stopping in. I was hitting the pavement, stopping at hotels. Yeah. Stopping at retirement homes, different schools.
That's not a 9-to-5 thing, man.
It's not a 9-to-5. Nothing about it's a 9-to-5.
Now, I'll tell you, a lot of people share either on air or off air that even if they have a business where their family can participate, a lot of times families aren't your first customers. So,
aren't?
For different industries.
Yeah.
Not because of any adverse intentions, but maybe you have a product that they can't necessarily use or so. So, did you find that your old customers helped from other industries help you get started? Did your family help that? How was your family involved in the kind of genesis of Thoroughbred?
I'll definitely support.
Okay.
And it's interesting because I have clients today that the relationship started 20 years ago when I was in high school, just people I knew or where I interned, at the Baltimore Ravens or working in restaurants or people I knew through neighbors. And it's crazy to think the connection started that long ago.
Yeah.
And people have known me for that long.
Yeah.
Not to say we were best friends 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
Connection.
Just the connection. And they've stuck. And that's real life.
I think a big thing for entrepreneurs, too, is the initial fear that when you reach out to, let's just call that a sphere of influence in some way. It's a huge, broad term, right? That when they reach out to that sphere, there's going to be some rejection there. And that can kill a lot of businesses because people are afraid to do that. And now you have social media, right? Which is kind of how we connected. For those of you who don't know, he has a marketing manager, a media person. Her name is Kate Winslow. Kate's son and my son played at U Sports, Bel Air Terps football. And Kate reached out to me and she's like, hey, we're trying to get involved in social media or whatever. And his name's Joe and he's a really cool guy or whatever. And I was like, oh, yeah, neat. It was super easy, you know, but it's not easy doing a new version of media. So do you I've seen you guys got some cool videos on your Instagram and stuff. Do you like that stuff or is it like, time to content?
It's funny. It's a little bit of both. And I've really, probably the last year and a half, I'm embracing this more than I have been. I wouldn't have done something like this 2 years ago.
Is this your first podcast?
Yeah.
Well, they say you never forget your first.
I've never been like, I don't need to be the face of the camera sort of a thing. But understanding.
Ego-wise, you don't have to be.
No, not at all. But kind of understanding and, I think it was Gary Vee that said every business ultimately is really a media company in this day and age.
Yeah,
and you just happen to sell what you sell, but it starts with being a media and being seen. And again, I'm just really starting to embrace that. I get it. Katie has a great vision for us.
Yeah.
And I trust her. Yeah, she's really cool, really down to earth. And when she speaks, I listen.
Well, so that's kind of the genesis of this podcast. It's like doing some research. I left the company I was with for 17 years. Went to a new company, and then you're kind of out there, and I had a non-compete, so I couldn't talk to any of my clients for 3 years. I'm actually still within that time period. And so it's like, okay, where do you start, right? And when I realized that Google bought YouTube, I was like, okay, if you're not listening, that's a loud scream, right? That's exposure opportunity.
Right.
And then, okay, great, you got a YouTube channel. Like, what the heck do you do, right? Well, I think YouTube shorts are the fastest growing, like, I don't even know those words, right? I'm not that industry. Katie would. But so you're like, okay, well, that's great, right? Well, how do we do that? And then the more you start to dive into it, you're like, this is a freight train. This whole social media, you're going to wave as it goes by, or you're going to jump on.
Right.
And that's kind of where I started this, where I'm like, okay, I don't want to wave. I want to be on it.
Right.
It's going to be fumbly. I'm not an expert. I don't have the budget for all the massive equipment, but I just want to have fun. So that's why I'm glad you came here today, because I see you having a lot of fun on the social media, which is so cool. It is a little cringe sometimes when somebody starts, but it's okay. Like, your 18-year-old kid's not going to be judging you or figuring out how successful your business is going to be. You got to kind of grow it. So I give you a lot of credit, man. It's not easy to start that.
I appreciate that. And we were really, like, for the first 8 or 9 years, flirting with it, even though it was super popular.
Good way to put it. Yeah, just think and dunk.
And now, not to say we're experts or anything, but we're really kind of going, in on it. And, and again, embracing it and taking it seriously.
Well, hopefully this helps a little bit. Yeah. So I went on some of your socials, and it seems like every picture I'm seeing is a lot of fun, a lot of smiles, which, it's a camera. You're going to capture those moments. People aren't going to capture the bad moments. But how much staff do you have? Because I couldn't tell. There's a lot of different faces there.
I want to say there's 31 employees.
That's amazing.
Yeah, big staff.
That's amazing. So you're still considered a small business till 100, right? Yeah.
It's either 50 or 100.
Something like that. Yeah. There's a number there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of people.
Well, I have such a great team, and if you watch the videos, you see we have so much fun at work.
Yeah.
We have such a great crew.
My favorite is the one where, I don't know if it's Katie or not, going around trying to interview everyone, saying no, stickers no, typing in no. That's so cool.
Yeah, there's this, like, and it's kind of trendy with, oh God, the social media girls commenting.
Yeah, like,
oh boy, here we go. And everyone's like runs and hides. It's a little bit of that vibe, but it's fun at the same time. And we just have a good crew, and they love it.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the people I work with.
You can see the genuine response, though, right? Like, when someone is recording to record, I'm not an expert either, but I can get that vibe, right? But your people have a lot of fun. 30 is a lot. That's a lot of personalities. Yeah. That's a lot of families, schedules, back and forth.
Yeah.
Do you have somebody that kind of runs the inside, or do you still run the day-to-day on that?
Yeah, I'm not doing as much as the day-to-day these days. I have an awesome director of operations. Her name's
Awesome.
TL. She's been with me for like 8 years.
Okay.
She's one of the earliest employees.
Right-hand gal kind of thing?
Right-hand gal, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good, tough, direct, kind of keeps everyone in line. And I kind of focus on, my niche, which is growth, sales,
huge,
cash flow.
You just said your niche was sales.
Isn't that
a
funny?
minute ago, you're like, I didn't want to get into
I hate
sales.
sales, right?
But when you're selling yourself, it's a whole other ballgame,
And
That's kinda cool.
we have a great sales team, dispatch group, wedding coordinators, great team of drivers, about 20 drivers. 12,
I was going to ask how many of your drivers got it. Got it.
12 full time, 8 part time. They're great people. They work, kind of not the sexiest hours, if you will, sometimes.
Sure.
In the middle
the
of
events are
the events, the weddings, Friday nights, Saturday nights, they're away from their families. But we do a great job vetting, and they're just great people, great family people. They've been with us for a long time also, so that's good.
That's great.
There's always going to be turnover, but
yeah.
But staffing wise, some of our drivers 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So it just says we're doing something right.
And channeling on my experience with hired transportation beyond public transportation, I feel like that employee, the driver, it definitely represents your company.
Yeah.
If they are upbeat, smiley, having a good time, it is a direct reflection on you as a business. So
it's huge.
You got to be careful who's representing you behind the wheel.
It's like at a hotel. It's the first person you see at the front desk.
Yep.
Same concept. It's like the waiter or waitress at the restaurant.
And not every industry can see the dichotomy of good versus bad, but a lot of people, I'm sure, have had negative experiences with their transportation person, but those really positive ones stick out. So it's cool that you take so much attention and time to make sure that person is vetted enough where they can obviously be safe during the journey, but give that other experience. That's a little different.
Yeah.
That's cool. And that has to matter to you.
It matters. And I get it. Everybody's different. Everyone doesn't have the bubbliest personality.
Yeah.
But, we're always looking for that element of being able to connect with anyone and having, a degree of personality, if you will.
Yeah.
And obviously good judgment.
Well, if you will, I want to talk about kind of like some industry things that I've been really curious about. I'd love to get your opinion on and see maybe the audience would resonate with some of the ideas that I'm thinking about, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the hot seat, not that you're already on it. That's cool with you.
So I'm starting to learn after kind of being a Harford County resident, 12, 13 years. You hear Baltimore. Everybody knows everybody.
Yes. Dundalk North.
I'm learning that more so than I realized in Harford County.
Okay.
Is big, but it's so small.
Yeah.
I know somebody that knows. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, like a Cheers thing.
A Cheers thing. So I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And they both love dance.
God bless you.
And
2 daughters.
It's kind of how I know Katie, through dance.
Okay.
Shout out Raise the Bar, great dance studio in Harford County.
Yeah, awesome.
They'd be great guests to have on here, by the way.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I love it.
Great people. So, and this is kind of recent, this quick little tidbit. A couple weeks ago, I'm at the dance studio nearly every night of the week. We're going to a competition tonight.
Yeah.
We'll be there tomorrow in Lancaster. It's Lancaster, by the way, not Lancaster.
Oh, is it?
Don't say Lancaster to anybody from the area, especially over the PA line.
Lancaster. Yeah.
Freak out on you. I see this lady in there who has a daughter probably similar to my oldest age.
Okay.
She looks real familiar. And you had asked me to watch a few of these episodes, which, of course, why
not?
Get a vibe,
right? Yeah.
So I watched 2 or 3 of them, and I watched, Dory the Explorer. Just kidding.
I said the same thing to her, too. Dory Dweck. She's amazing. Yeah.
She's great. We're going to order some get up from her.
Oh, yeah.
She's awesome. I love her. Her story was great. Her
yeah.
swag. And then Kristen Cavey.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She has daughters.
I guess she has a daughter, but she was on here and her face was just kind of seemed familiar. And I saw her 2 weeks ago at the studio, or I thought I saw her, and I think I did. And I kind of wanted to make a little small talk, like on my way out. It's like you don't know somebody, but you want to be a little bit awkward. And I thought it'd be a good kind of story for coming on here. And I missed her the first time, 2 weeks ago. And then a couple days ago, they had class again. And I guess she was a few minutes behind. Sorry if I'm, if you were late.
Putting her out there.
That she's not on time.
Look, here's this mom that is always late. Kristen. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
So I'm kind of looking forward to this moment because I think it'd be a good, little story for this.
What a
this
cool
segment.
icebreaker! Like,
cool
hey,
icebreaker.
saw you on a podcast.
Yeah, I'm going on in a few days. You have any pointers?
Yeah.
So she's not in there. It's 7:00. I'm like, I guess maybe she's not going tonight with her kid or whatever.
Yeah.
So we go. I get my daughter. We're in the parking lot, and I'm kind of creeping, going slowly. I'm like, all right, well, maybe she'll come in. Maybe
you want to engage in that conversation.
Yeah, maybe she's still in the parking lot, or maybe she's just a few minutes behind, whatever. Which she was. And we're going out of the parking lot, and there's a car in front of me that's kind of lollygagging a little bit and holding up the line. Someone's honking their horn, or at least it sounds like.
That's a great intro.
Yeah, and then that car passes, which ends up being Kristen.
Oh,
and then there's me, and I'm realizing, I think that's her. And she looks a little flustered, like she's either on the phone, or she's talking, or she's a little animated. And then there's me kind of, I'm on the brake and going extra slow and probably looking creepy.
Yeah, because you're scanning.
And I'm scanning, and I'm like, I think that's her. And we may or may not have made eye contact, and she looks pissed. Like I'm kind of in the way.
It might be your fault.
It's my fault. Get out of my way.
Slow and staring at me.
Right. And my daughter's, Jordan's like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, no, it's okay. I think I might just... And then we passed each other, and it was just awkward. And so if you're watching this, hope to see you soon and connect. But it was definitely her. And
so the creeper's not a creep.
The creeper's not
really
a creep.
Nice guy.
Really nice guy.
And your daughters are together.
Our daughters dance together Wednesday nights, or maybe your daughter's the session after ours. But yeah, we love dance.
Well, you guys should connect because she also has part of her business model in the wedding world. Okay. Which is a whole another thing, right? Yeah. So, she's an advocate for businesses, for the cosmetology and the beauty lines, but she's also a practicing makeup artist. So she definitely does some cool stuff. And she is an incredible social media gal. So
she's great. And I watched her entire segment, and I mean, she's
super confident lady.
Super confident, comfortable in front of the camera. Like, this is her jam.
Well, yeah, with her, it was our first podcast together, but she'd been in front of the camera, plenty of times. So that's funny. Yeah, she's a cool lady. And Dory, Dory's awesome. My sister-in-law actually used her for some stuff. So that's what I love, man. Yeah. Like when I say connected to the web, I literally mean that as a euphemism and literal. Like I want to create that community and kind of just connect, because how cool is that to connect people that could benefit from each other's, connection is going to sound kind of weird, but just again, that conversation. I'd love to start conversations as a result of this. So thanks for sharing, man. That's cool. Yeah. I'll send her a text and be like, hey, check the episode out. Your name came up, and then she'll be like, are you that guy? So that'll be a good thing.
I went home. I said to my wife, I think I saw this lady at her worst, and I'm sad because I think she's awesome, and I wish I would have just met her first. And she's probably going to be pissed at me if she sees me again. That guy blocked me and wouldn't let me leave. No, I was just trying to see if that was her.
You got a whole segment on my current guest. It's going to be a good conversation. Small is totally there. So that kind of leads into what I was going to ask you, because one of the things when I heard about what you did, when Katie reached out to me, I did a little research, just learning before we talked on the phone a couple weeks ago. I wanted to understand your industry because I don't know a lot about it. And my immediate brain was like, I wonder what sort of effect or clashing happens with some of the ride sharing, or by the way, there's something called ride hailing, which I don't know what the hell that is, but it's a thing. So the rise of that ride sharing was about 10 years ago, give or take. Were there any crossovers while you were building your business with that to say, this business model exists, I'm going to stay away from that? Or did it come up at all while you were building your business that there's this fledgling concept kind of growing out of nowhere away from the taxi world?
Oh yeah. And it was a big deal, definitely in getting started. Yeah. I mean, it still is now. I'm not going to say like we've adapted to that model at all.
No,
we haven't.
Of course not. Right.
But it was a big challenge. I mean, you have 99% of the world knows about, the rideshare industry. Yep. And it's become the norm. And you kind of have to, think of ways to
differentiate.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you have $1 in your bank account or $1 million in your bank account. Some folks are still just set on the rideshare industry because it's big and
name recognition.
Yeah. So it's been a challenge. It still is. It continues to be.
Yeah.
There's kind of in pricing the race to the bottom kind of now. Well,
Yeah.
this company is, this famous company, rideshare company, is only $40 to go to the airport. Well, we're not sending you with, a soccer mom that just dropped her kids off at practice and the back of a vehicle
Yes.
with granola bar crumbs from a Kirkland granola bar from Sam's Club. Like, it's always going to be there. We're always just kind of thinking of ways to innovate and adapt a little bit. We always think we're going to continue to stand out, kind of the private for hire, rideshare industry. Just, we're a little more regulated, a lot more regulated, I should say, with vetting drivers.
Yeah, you've had
background
legislature
checks,
come into play in your industry.
Yeah, a
the
lot of
last
legislation.
decade.
Yeah, a lot of insurance
Because of safety and stuff. Yeah, of course.
So super vetted, super safe, and that's kind of like the alternative.
Is it fair to say that you're trying to provide a service for a luxury market, or is that not appropriate because you have non-luxury clients? So, I mean, I know you have school buses and the coaches and stuff like that, but in terms of the general competition with that ride-sharing big-name model, is it fair to say that you're catering towards a luxury client, or is that not fair?
It's not fair. I'd say we're between economy and luxury.
Okay.
Anything in between,
that's a good word to use.
One size fits all kind of a model.
Yes. Okay.
We have nicer vehicles than some of the rideshare companies. I'm not going to say we're always rolling in Cadillac Escalades or things like that, but our cars, black cars, they're clean. Leather interiors. Our buses, our transit vans, they kind of match up well against your big ticket luxury items. A little bit more of economy and pricing, and certainly a little more affordable for us to run and maintain.
Well, also, I realized when you were saying that too, that one of the attractions to that industry is that anybody can be a driver.
Right.
Right. And you can use your own vehicle. And that has a place, I'm sure, in the marketplace for the little quick back and forth.
Yeah.
But, I was curious how to differentiate you from that so that somebody knows that you're a great option when they're considering transportation needs. So I appreciate you saying that, because I didn't want to make it awkward, but like that kind of is the not big, but a larger elephant when we have these conversations. Someone might bring up, well, why not X or Y company?
Well, it's like we sell this all the time. Like, we're your peace of mind, right? You got to get to the air. You got to get picked up to go to BWI at 3 a.m. You want to rely on a stranger, someone that needs to, I guess, accept the ride in real time. And look, where were you? Hartford County. I mean, there's probably not a whole lot of driver volume out here for ride shares.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want the peace of mind knowing, a reputable company, a driver's going to be there tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. This has been reserved the night before or 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
We have the address. We have all the little details. We know your driveway's a little confusing. We know where to enter.
That's good.
I did pass your house.
Yes. It's okay. Well, mine's weird with the mailboxes and everything.
So it's just that element of peace of mind that I think folks are willing to pay a little bit more for. And sometimes it's a little bit less. These rideshare companies can kind of gouge your wallet a little bit during peak times. So
that's
ultimately, I think peace of mind is what we're selling.
Yeah, I think that's important that we talk about that, right? Because in your industry too, and I noticed that, I don't know what it was, maybe like 10 years ago, and I'm not just saying that because you've been doing this for 10 years, but I read a really neat article about what Americans are willing to trade up on.
Yeah.
And coffee was a great example, where an actual cup of coffee from whatever, Royal Farms, Dunkin', you're going to talk about it can have a 1 in front of it to a low 2s, right? But statistically, the massive majority of their product line is in the $4, $5, $6, $7 range, right?
Right.
So in the spirit of just a economics conversation, a marketing conversation, people are willing to make those upgrades and pay that price for a reason. And the challenge on a business is, what is that reason? Does that apply to my industry? And is this a conversation we can have? And you just had that unbeknowingly. Like you said, hey, there is a quick, convenient type of thing.
Right.
But it has pros and it has cons. We talked about a couple of them, right? I've been in a vehicle that wasn't clean before.
Right.
I've also wanted to send my child somewhere, a teenage child, with a couple of friends, and I was really nervous about their safety, right? So that's a completely different situation with a contracted company versus a quick app, and we're being purposeful not to say their names, clearly. We're going out and above not to do that. But So I think it's a really huge thing you kind of said there is that there is a major difference. It's not the same thing.
Right.
A person who'd want that quick rideshare experience, depending on the size of their party, could use you as a service, but their expectations are going to be higher, as it should be, and there might be a price difference as a result of that. And I think that's okay.
That's
nothing
okay.
to be embarrassed about.
No,
you know?
it's okay.
And I'm glad you're not. You were proud of that. You're like, we're a little bit more, but you get so much for that. And I think in business we call that a value, right? What is the value of that product? And there are so many reasons to go down that road and really be proud of it. And I like the way you. I don't know if it was on purpose, but I saw pride when you answered that question. You're like, we are proud of this. You didn't say those words, but you gave me the impression of that. I hope the audience caught that too.
And it's okay. You know, we're not going to win everybody over. That's just part. You know, we're not. But again, what are our values?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that word gets kind of looked over a little too much. You know, and with social media, kind of going back for a second, what you want to do is captivate an audience, increase your audience potential to know your name, brand, and stuff. But you don't want to change who you are, right? And that's important to figure that out. Where's that fine blend, you know? So yeah, that's cool, man. I'm a nerd for stuff like that. I think it matters. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But one thing you'll find too with some of the guests that I have is that they do experience a little bit of that as well. They're like, you know what? I have a value. That's why they want to come on a podcast. There's something they want to talk about. So it's kind of a bold thing to even be here, man, which is cool. But not everybody can sit here and talk about themselves because I want you to brag a little bit. There's a lot to brag about from what we've heard about. So, well, let's kind of get into the nitty gritty because I was on your website and I was like nerding out all some different stuff. And maybe we talk about kind of some of your fleet and some of the different things that have on your services. I think it might be cool to talk about that a few on there I was surprised about. So it's kind of cool. If you're willing to talk about that. I don't want to go through your webpage page by page. Let the audience do that, but there's a couple things I want to talk about.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we specialize in like sedan vans and buses. We're really big in the transit van, 13, 14 passenger vans, and mini coaches. We probably have one of the largest mini coach fleets in the Baltimore area with 11 mini coaches. They average 11 mini coaches.
Where do these things stay? Is that in Rosedale?
Yeah, they stay in Rosedale. Yep. Right. We have a nice office, 2 yards there. Slowly outgrowing, but we're figuring it out.
So 11 mini coaches are huge. So go through that fleet real quick. So hit me up. That's a lot of vehicles, right? Yeah. You need space for that. So 11 of the big boys.
11 of the big boys, 5 of the transit vans. And then we have 1 SUV and 1 sedan. And we work with a lot of, smaller 1099 operators for the smaller things. We're kind of shifting into like the bus business, the people moving, if you will.
Busing as a verb. Yeah. So, human busing. That's a lot of space. So 2 lots to house all this stuff.
2 lots. It's I don't want to say it's ideal. It's a little complicated, but we have a great team. Again, we have 2 full-time mechanics on site. We have a fleet operations manager. We have great partnerships with local, vendors also for stuff that we can't do in-house. The main thing is keeping the vehicles safe, keeping everybody safe, keeping them on the road. So, we spend a pretty penny in our fleet maintenance, keeping the vehicles healthy is what I like to say.
Oh, that's cool. Keeping the vehicles healthy. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So I'm morbidly curious. What is the largest number of people you bust as a clientele in one shot? Like you said, some of the smaller, like I'm hearing parties of 13, 14 or whatever. The coach buses are bigger. So what's the largest group of people that you've had the pleasure of serving?
I mean, we've done large-scale weddings of 300, 400 people.
That's a lot.
We
shuttle style?
Shuttle style.
Actually transportation? Okay.
Shuttle, where we have, 10, 15 units running.
Ooh.
And then, a step above that is in corporate conventions. We're talking 3,000, 4,000 people that we've coordinated down in Baltimore and DC.
You're giving a list of 3,000 or 4,000 people that need your service,
right? And I'm not going to say I know all those 3,000 or 4,000 people, but there's a constant shuttle looping sort of a thing that we're.
You mentioned logistics earlier. Yeah, that's logistics.
Exactly, that we're responsible for, keeping in mind traffic, wait time, what makes the most sense, budget, things of that nature. So I love those kind of mini projects. Yeah. So that's one of our niches, coordinating large scale moves, whether that's weddings, special events, corporate convention shuttles, things of that nature.
So if I'm looking at your volume of clientele, I'm a nerd, so I use the term units, but unit being a customer, a client, an experience. Looking back, what's the number one? I want to stay away from the word seller, bestseller, but my idea is what's the number one type of service you're providing in the course of a 12-month year that keeps recurring the most? What's your hottest volume?
I would say our
ticket?
wedding industry.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely one of the bigger players in the Baltimore DC market. We've won Best of Baltimore Magazine award
I saw
like
that
3
for
years in a
23,
row.
24, and 25.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's
Yeah,
awesome,
thank
man.
you,
That's a
thank
big
you.
deal.
Yeah.
And that's Baltimore Weddings is the person that makes that, correct?
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
Baltimore Wedding Magazine.
Yep.
Baltimore Magazine. I mean, we do upwards of 500 weddings a year coordinating.
Oh my god!
So our Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays are very busy.
That
From
makes my heart palpitate.
yeah, I say in about a couple weeks I start looking forward to Thanksgiving because that's kind of like.
Did you just say in a couple of weeks? March. You just said in a couple of weeks looking forward to Thanksgiving.
So that's kind of like
it's a blur, right?
The joke at home. My wife and I talk about every year. All right, we'll see you Thanksgiving. No, just kidding. But like kind of, I look forward to that nap. That Black Friday,
downtime,
the Black Friday nap. Day after Thanksgiving, I start looking forward to.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. So, you have a list of services. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So I saw parties, obviously weddings, corporate events, and then I saw proms. That was kind of cool. So that's still a thing.
Yeah, we still do proms.
Stretch.
Don't do as much with like the stretch limousine industry. We're more of kind of like a economical alternative. Keeping everybody together in buses, in school buses, and motor coaches, and in mini coaches. So, and it's a much better price point also than the stretch limousines and the party buses. We found, there's great vehicles out there, but oftentimes the consumer has an idea of, everything's got to be perfect. There can't be one fiber optic light out, and this is a one-time customer sometimes. So we've kind of found that our mini buses, it's a great cost-effective alternative. They're safe. They keep everybody together. It's a better price point, and they're prom popular. And parents are happy, kids are happy. You can still play music. We're still going to get there on time and get you there on time. So
I mean, and then just the headspace.
The headspace,
right? Like the limo experience is cool.
It's cool.
Once or twice. I did it when I got married, but you're like crouching. I'm 6'1". I'm not that tall. I had 2 groomsmen that were 6'4", 6'5", and we're like, going through a cave to get in. So that bus experience, especially for kids, the girls are all dressed nice, to get them in, and it's not like this crazy squishy thing. I got to imagine that's a big ticket too.
It is. It's pretty good. We're coming up on it. We don't do a whole lot of proms.
Yeah.
We don't do an incredible amount of marketing towards it. It just kind of comes in a little bit.
Okay.
And that's okay. It's kind of, we're following our business model and what works and what doesn't. But, we probably do 15, 20 proms every spring.
That's not a lot. That's a lot to me. I guess because you serve a large area, right?
Yeah. But obviously, it goes without saying, we're at the airports every day. BWI, Reagan, Dulles, Philly. We go to JFK probably 3 or 4 times a week. And then that's big in retail. We call it retail customers. Big into corporate also. And then we do a lot with private school transportation daily.
Okay.
So AM and PM routes is a niche
because
of ours.
Of the idea that the students are spread so far apart.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we're running daily routes. That's great. It helps keep the vehicles moving Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
One of the other things about the business is, and kind of how limos and did you hear how I said that?
Yes.
Limos.
Limos. You were there. I'm like, Bawlmer.
Limos and party buses have kind of been phased out. It's like, what can you really do Monday through Friday with them?
Yeah.
I think in the 90s, going to the airport in limos was a thing. Not that I remember, but that was a thing. And now it's more of the economy way to get to the airport.
Okay.
Town car, SUV sort of thing. So what are those? How are those vehicles generating revenue Monday through Friday? So there really aren't a lot of options of party buses and limos nowadays. Again, because what are you going to do just Friday and Saturday? Why not see if you can get money, revenue Monday through
Is there Friday. A central location where the parents drop the kids off and then you shuttle to the school? Is that how it works?
Yep. So it works best like 3 or 4 central locations, obviously, that work best for the families. Like a big shopping center, mall sort of an area.
Oh yeah.
Park and ride.
Mm-hmm. Make your own park and ride.
Exactly. And it keeps the buses moving. I'm not saying we're getting rich off doing these runs, but they help pay the bills.
Well, I think a smart business, and again, I'm a nerd for this, right? I've said it about 19 times now. I'll probably said it 12 more, is that I like to hear those little tiny idiosyncrasy things you're talking about like, you want to increase the revenue and use that vehicle. It keeps it going. Yeah. it keeps it as an active part of your fleet instead of sitting on a lot somewhere.
Yeah.
I love those ideas.
Yeah, it's that. It's that. It's also a big combination of employment retention, keeping employees. You know,
'Cause they're
understanding
busy.
they're busy, and you know you have certain employees that the drivers can't afford reasonably so to just work 20 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to keep somebody long term, find 40 hours of work for them to do. Understanding,
What a great point.
understanding Monday through Friday, the profit margin might not be that great, but you're going to make up for it on the weekends, and you're going to have somebody that's been working for you with you for 3 to 4 years.
You can build a business.
You
with
can build a
people that are with
business
you.
that way. So
Oh, I love that.
I really have kept that in mind, kind of for like the school type of work and keeping people with us long term.
Oh,
You have to keep that in mind.
That's awesome. So, what about a market you want to break into that you haven't necessarily put a lot of energy into? What's some of the R&D in your world about things you want to kind of break out? You have something on your tip of your tongue. You're like, man, I'd love to try this and see if there's a market for it. Got you on that one.
You got me, man. You got me.
like a cool market where you're like, I wonder if there's any opportunity there. Anything cool like that where you haven't tried? I mean, you've been around 10 years. You probably tried a lot. But is there anything you haven't tried yet? You're like maybe dipping your toes in, trying to see if it works?
You got me.
That's great.
You got me.
Does that mean you've tried everything so far?
It does, but it doesn't. I mean, we do a lot of coordination in other cities also.
Okay.
So I'm sure we'd like to grow a little bit more in some larger markets, just knowing that we can serve our customers, our local customers, when they travel to New York City. We do this a lot, but growing that aspect of working with affiliates nationwide in larger markets, because we have a lot of customers that travel to Los Angeles, Miami, on a somewhat regular basis, New York City, Boston. So being kind of like their one-stop shop when they travel, and they know the peace of mind that we offer here, and just, hey, why don't you just have us handle everything for you? So probably just going a little bit step further, diving into that a little more.
Yeah,
I'd say
taking that one-time or two-time customer and making them a long-term customer. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. Yeah. And then all the ideas you have that could spawn from that. So that was a good answer.
So okay. So we have a customer, instead of they're going on a business trip, right? Instead of round trip, to and from BWI, we take them to BWI, and then we pick them up from JFK. And then we take them back to JFK, and then we pick them up from BWI and take them home. So that's 4 trips instead of 2.
Dude, what a cool idea. Yeah. That makes so much sense.
Right.
When you said that, a light bulb literally went off like, bing. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Right.
Because wherever you drop them off to travel by air, they've got to then travel by wheels. When they get by the ground, I said wheels. Travel by ground once they're there. Oh, I see. That's what I'm nerding out about, man. That's 20 times I've said it now. Because that just makes sense. When you sit in a room saying, how do we serve this client well, what a great, simple thing that, we take them to BWI, and then they go somewhere.
Right.
Well, what about when they get there? And then they got to come back. Right. Oh, man, I love business stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And I mean, we like going one step further as kind of being a concierge type of approach. Our boutique approach to things. I mean, we'll grab you coffee beforehand. We'll grab food for you.
Oh, man.
We'll stop and, pick up your kids from school with you in the car on your way home from the airport. Really kind of, you want us to do something special, we'll do it for you. We'll offer what we can do. We'll pick up cookies and have cookies waiting for you.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a neat, customized, extra kind of things that we can do, to make the experience a little more memorable, a little more comfortable.
Cool.
You have a special order. We have customers, they love Diet Coke, and it's got to be a Diet Coke in a 20-ounce bottle, and it's got to be the silver bottle. That's fine.
Okay, you could not have planned this layup more, because I've been trying to find a spot while we're talking here. It's been sitting back here. And let me check my notes real quick, because it is a very interesting concept. Explain to my audience what a fridge cig is.
A fridge cig is, we call them 158s at work, which is
what's a 158?
Which is $1.58 Diet Cokes from McDonald's.
Okay.
Right? And they literally will change your life. You can start up a car with the energy that you get from the surge. I mean, it's like a jumper. I call them jumper cables.
Jumper cables.
Yeah. But a fridge cig is kind of, I think, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. you get a Diet Coke and it's just bubbly and it'll get you going.
Oh my gosh, my mom's a big fan of that. She's a Diet Coke fan, and she'll literally go out of her way in the course of her day. She owns a budget blind franchise, so she's driving all over the county. Okay, and she will always go get the Diet Coke. The doctor's like blah 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 blah. She's like, well, you can cross that off the list because that's my. She doesn't say fridge cig. She's a former cigarette smoker, so she wouldn't use that term. But I'm gonna tell her about it. I hope she sees it because my mom obviously watches everything. So that's a cool term. I saw that on your social media. I was like, write that down. What is a fridge cig?
And it's funny, like Liz from the office, our HR manager, picked up lunch for us the other day, and we're like, God, it's taking so long. Went out of her way to get us 158s, fridge cigs on the way back, and it was worth it. We were kind of complaining at first, like, oh, we're starving. Come on, where is she? And then TL was like, I think she stopped and got us some fridge cigs. So it was.
You're like, whoa, take your time.
Take your time. Yeah, no worries.
I was dying to ask you about that. That's super cool. That's super cool.
But I hadn't heard the term fridge cig until Katie mentioned it to me.
Okay.
Katie knew the phrase, and I looked it up. I was like, yeah, that's a thing. But we call them 150H, fridge cigs, car starters, jumper cables, whatever.
There's some cool social media content for you, all the different things for that. So yeah, Katie, if you're listening or watching, there's some content ideas for you. Oh man, yeah, that was a funny one. That was a good one. So if you're comfortable talking about it, we won't say the C word. If I'm looking back 10 years on the calendar, it obviously sticks out because in this world we have BC and AC now in 2020.
Right.
We know what that is. So did the pandemic, that's the good word to use, did the pandemic kind of throw a wrench in your bucket at all back in 2020? Did that affect, because you were a couple years in, but that's a big deal, especially in your industry where there's other people around other people.
Yeah, that was big. It probably could have ended things for the company.
Very logically.
It was 4 years after we started, and probably a year before the pandemic, we had just kind of tapped into the bus world and bought our first bus.
Yeah.
And we had kind of figured things out.
So you acquired a
Yeah.
big piece of equipment.
And it was like March of 2020. I remember a few weeks before, I guess the pandemic was actually called a pandemic and it was official, the news was out. Oh, yeah, right. Like, no.
Yeah, what are the odds?
Yeah, what are the odds? Like, people, it's news. And then it happened.
March, April.
And then the phone started ringing for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Cancellations. Every single email we were getting, I didn't want to look. I didn't want to answer the phones. Yeah, of course, we answered them. Yeah, I mean, it got to the point, everything was canceling. There was nothing we could do.
Yeah.
The world was shutting down, especially in transportation. I mean, we were lucky enough that we were a little more diversified. We did a lot of medical transportation back then. We still do. That kind of helped kind of skate in the black during those times.
Or is it elderly too? Or is
elderly, yep.
Okay.
To and from like cancer treatments, things like that. We do a lot of that.
They were the primary subject of the drama.
But, there was just nothing we could do. We tried everything, and
That's
we
scary.
still had vehicle notes. We still had employees.
Yeah.
And a month would go by, another month. And, I remember thinking to myself a lot, I'm not going through this again. Like, we make it out of this, and it happens again, like, that's it. I'm not going through this again. Like, we'll continue to fight. And I did feel confident we were going to come out. But at the same time, it's like, this is pretty bad.
Uncertainty.
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
So, I just being positive, I'm always accused of being a positive Polly. I've seen a credible amount of innovation come out of that time from different businesses. So my question to you is, were there any sort of innovations that you, at the time they were crisis management, that became innovations to you and the way you run your business or the flow or the scheduling? Did anything come out of there that technically made you stronger after those scars healed?
Yeah, probably just increased cleaning protocols. Not to say that we weren't, in the whole cleaning regimen to begin with, but just an extra emphasis on cleanliness and a cleaning and maintenance program for the interior of the vehicles. I'd say, and just continuing to, even though I'm super confident nothing like this is ever going to happen again, be mindful of our clientele and future clients, diversifying our portfolio enough to, having a wide genre of possible revenue streams, which we were doing at the time. But again, I'm not going to forget that. So.
Yeah. I use the term scar, which is mostly appropriate because sometimes those scars can be good because they harden you, right? And you're like, you know what? We're going to just be mindful of that, and I appreciate you talking about that. Some people are very skittish about it because it's bad memories.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't even mean health and the pandemic, the effect on the mental health, the children. You talked about some great subjects there. I just mean business. The business, like, it was scary.
Yeah.
And as you know, millions of businesses did not make it.
Right.
They didn't make it. They're still gone. Or they're still holding on to all the drama they had to. And some of them are, I read the statistic the other day, actually, that there's still 15% of businesses that are closing in 2025 were as a direct result of just holding on as long as they could.
There's still
from the pandemic. 5 years later.
One of the hardest parts was, I'm really good at problem solving and, coming up with solutions. And we had contingency plans when every business did. Like, all right, well, let's pivot. Yeah. Let's find a solution.
Yep.
And I would say 99.9%, it just wasn't working. And you felt like this sense of defeat, like, I really can't figure this out, but nobody was figuring it out. Yeah. Like, there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
So I think, and I beat myself up for a while, but as time progressed, there was nothing you could do, and it kind of accepted, hey, everybody's going through this. It's not your fault. You're not thinking of great alternatives to get the money rolling in. This is kind of reality right now, and we just have to wait till this passes.
And one of the final thing I'll talk about too is when you get over that hump of fear and anxiety, there's a sense of community from what you just said that we're all going through it. So how can we help each other? And at that point, I would imagine for you, you're like, I have a service people need because especially the medical thing, but so much more than that. It's not necessarily, you don't get calls on whimsical, like, maybe sometimes with parties, but I was thinking about this. You have a major event, you don't have a vehicle big enough, you have a transportation geography issue or whatever, and they need you. So you're providing that service, especially during that time, to get from point A to point B. Yeah. So when you get over that hump, and this is the lesson in life, right? To just try to get to that point over the mountain where you can start seeing the sunshine again. And at that moment, you're like, okay, oh my gosh, we're here. Yeah. We're all dealing with this. How can we help each other? And then I just, again, being a positive poly, I saw some amazing things as a result of after that crisis management, had to happen. Everybody had to do it. And then you get over that. And it's been kind of cool. I mean, to this day, this morning, you buy a cup of coffee, you can take your card and just smack it. Like that is a direct result of the pandemic moving with the payment methods because they didn't want your hands all over it. So little things like that.
The last thing I'll say is you had talked about, like, what if you still taken from it, moving forward. And not to say that we weren't ungrateful beforehand. We were kind of growing into this volume sort of a business, but kind of coming out of COVID and the trips start to come back and you're not at the volume you were at, but you make sure specifically each trip is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of going back to that, every ride matters.
You're humble.
Every ride, exactly.
Got humbled.
So super humbled. So we're back up to being great volume, but our mindset still is every single ride is important. Every single ride matters, regardless of what the invoice is for it. Because I remember how grateful we were at the time. Rides were coming back. All right, we're gonna nail this.
Yeah.
And so we still have that element of it doesn't matter if we have 150 trips today. Every single one is important. Everyone matters, and we're not going to forget that.
In your business, I think that's a huge advantage where you care about every ride.
Right.
It could be a little tagline down the road. So I've been fortunate enough now to have a year into this, and one of the coolest things that I can do for you as a way to say thank you for coming on the show is just trying to figure out how to get people to know about you and then what businesses to connect to you. So I'm going to ask you two questions. First one is, it's going to be a layup for you. What is a good customer for you, Joe? What's a good customer for Thoroughbred? And what does that person look like, or what does that experience look like where you can come in and save the day?
Sure. I think it just starts with the backbone of the individual or the group. We like to work with people who are like us, who are rational. It's easy to work with people who are rational. I know that might sound kind of like a weird answer, but
it's interesting. I like it. I'm like, okay, you're setting the bar real low.
But if you're working with somebody that's rational, that's self-aware, if we're self-aware, if our customers are self-aware, it's going to be a great relationship regardless.
I like that.
So you might not get that again from this.
But that's what makes you special, right?
Let's see if that goes anywhere.
And so when I hear that, right, when I hear that as an audience that you just said, what I'm interpreting as is logistics, right? understanding what they need, how you can provide that service, and then filling in the details. I guess that's where the rationale comes in.
The rationale, yep.
Awesome. Good.
Yep.
Okay, well, that was a layup. So a little tougher now. Not necessarily individual customers, but other businesses. What type of businesses do you think, if you're sitting in a room, you'd really love to connect with, where you both might be able to help each other?
I'd say like mom and pops in Harford County, Baltimore County,
Really?
Baltimore City, yeah.
A lot of that in Harford County.
I like starting small and connecting with the community. I mean, it starts at the community. You know, cookie shops, cake shops, you know, small boutique, Airbnb, hotels, things like that. Mortgage lenders.
Yes.
Right. So, check. So, you know, small sort of dance studios. A lot that starts in community with individuals that are all connected through school or after school programs or have families, and it just kind of snowballs. But I really like the small business aspect, that type of customer or small business owner who kind of gets how to get things started, usually how to get started with nothing and then kind of learning how to make things work and kind of understand the importance of working with others and kind of respect.
You could argue that's rational.
That's rational. And understand how important the word of mouth is.
Yeah.
And not to say everyone's perfect all the time, but understanding, you know, online feedback and, you know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some people can just go online and trash you, that sort of a thing.
Yes.
So just, again, working with rational people, small business owners that get it, and that are accountable, because ultimately you need to be accountable. So, and self-aware. So I like surrounding myself with people like that.
Well, and I'm sure that's a like-minded situation too, right? Like that's you're basically implying who you are as a business owner, and you like to be people around that.
Right.
So I just had a cool idea. A light bulb went off, not because there's huge lumens in my face, but we had a connection through one of our parents for our sports team. And we had a championship game, and they drove them to the kids to a championship game. That might be a breakout industry for you, is not necessarily going to the sports, because clearly high school sports have that need, right? They're going to have the big cheeses for those guys. But what I'm talking about is rec sports, where the teams are going to a championship game to elevate that experience. That could be something for you to kind of break into. So
that'd be neat.
You'd be surprised that this rec is random, right? It's not a sports team you're building for 4 years when they get to senior year in varsity. Every year the rec teams change. So when those championships happen, they have to travel. It's an amazing experience. Yeah. I bet you there's a lot of fun, great way to spread your name. And it might not be a high dollar event for you guys, but what a great way to get in the community, to take a championship team from Bel Air to Havre de Grace. Right. 30-minute drive.
That's great.
So it's a little layup for you. I want 5% of all proceeds on that idea. I'm just kidding. Okay, so you knew this was coming. Yeah. We talked about it in the very beginning.
I've seen your Netflix special before. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Hey, Netflix, if you're calling. So, all right, here it is. Here's my preface. Not everybody has a superpower. Mm-hmm. I believe they do, but they don't know it yet. Okay. And some people haven't discovered it. If you've watched some shows before, you know that I'm kind of leading you in by saying maybe you're in your origin story for that. You have girls. They might not be as big as into Marvel as my kids. My boys were. But so where are you in your superpower story? Are you still in your origin story kind of figuring it out? Or have you figured out what your superpower is that God gave you?
I was thinking about this a lot last night. Again, I've seen your Netflix special, and I knew this was coming.
I love that. I love that layup.
And I would have to say that the superpower would be finding solutions and finding solutions quickly.
Ooh, problem solving.
And that's problem solving quickly, though.
Yeah.
And that's in life, at home, and in business. Not just solving issues or hurdles, as we've used that word instead of the word problem, because every day there's going to be multiple hurdles in life.
Yeah.
But coming up with a plan, not dwelling on the past, and finding a solution quickly, because speed kills. We know that.
Yeah.
So I would say those two things together.
Well, that was an awesome answer, man. So you did your research. I mean, so there's so many.
I said I'm not. You stumped me earlier. I said it's not going to happen on this question.
and that's why I do the lead in, because some people are like, "Oh my gosh," but that's a good one, and I haven't had anybody say that yet. I've had some crossovers for some different people, which are really cool, but I think that's huge. You know, in life, just being able to
every day there's going to be multiple issues from large scale to small scale, but overcoming any sort of adversity. Adversity could be small. You got a flat tire on the way to work.
Yeah.
You're late to school or something. Your kid's homesick. You got to get something covered. It's life.
And I'll tell you, just joking about your irrational comment, I would tell you that what service-seeking consumer wouldn't want to hear that in a business owner, that they're quick at problem solving. Because as much as you try to prepare for the inevitable, you're going to have a set of circumstances you didn't plan on. And what a great thing to have as a business owner, a problem-solving superpower.
Yeah.
That's a good answer, man. Hey, I'm checking out the box. That's an A+. I'm grading. For everybody from now on, I'm grading. That's
A+? All right, cool.
I can't give somebody a D when it's their own superpower. But that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm excited to spread the word about Thoroughbred, your services. I was kind of surprised about some things on the website. So definitely I want to have some fun with that. Hopefully we can have a little fun with this.
Yeah.
And, it's a big deal, man. Not everybody's comfortable sitting here talking about themselves. And I said that already, but it's a big deal because that's how we learn who you are. I believe people buy from people. I'm excited you're part of the Hartford Family County, Baltimore, Bawlmer, whatever you want to do. But I've learned a lot today about your industry. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, wait, I got to do some research. So I appreciate some tough topics we talked about. So thank you for kind of going down that road. And I'm going to do whatever I can to spread the good word. So congratulations on 10 years. That is absolutely huge.
Thank you, Joe.
Everybody that comes here, I now say you are now connected to the Webb. You already were, actually, unintentionally. Kristen Cavey, if you're watching, please say hi to my friend. He just wants to share the war stories of Joe's embarrassing moments.
I want to shake your hand, Kristen.
Yes. So
a peace offering.
A star in the making. So, but thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Listen, we've got Joe Rosensweet from Thoroughbred
Sedan, Van, and Bus.
Sedan, Van, and Bus. It comes off so quick. So, and guys, obviously appreciate you being connected to the Webb podcast on the World Wide Web of Lending YouTube channel. That's it for this time. We'll see you guys next time. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.